Hello everyone, again this is Jessica Bonner of For Other Prizes Consulting, here with you with another live. So the title you see today is They Don't Manage Their Attraction to You Well. So I thought that was something very interesting that was told to me just a week ago on a Sunday, and it was by a fellow coaching participant in a coaching program that I just ended a week ago, and it was by this woman who in the group, she's African. And I noticed of people, if you're around people for so long, and we had a 10-week program, if you're around them for so long, and you can pick up a lot on people. So one thing I pick up on this woman is that she was very spiritual, very close to God, which I really appreciate. And so when she spoke, it was almost everything she said was prophetic. And so I was talking about dealing with situations of having been bullied in childhood, on throughout high school, and even in this year of 2024, having dealt with bullying by women in particular. Just seems like almost every time I turn around, another incident has happened regarding some woman, and she has bullied. So she spoke about it, and again, we got to see each other over a 10-week period and got to know each other, got to have an understanding of one another over this time period. And what she was saying is, over this time, what she picked up on me was a particular aura. And so she said, okay, you have a very particular aura about you, and there's something about you that is attractive. And so I know attraction can come in so many different forms. It can be energy, it can be physical, it can be all those types of things. But then I think in this case, she was talking more so about energy. And she says you have something that draw people in. And so she said that would explain a lot regarding where the bullying is coming from. And she said there's always been an attraction to you. And it's just that people have not managed it well. Obviously bullying is not a great way to show somebody, hey, you're someone who brings a light into the room. So when you're bullying someone, if you want to show someone that you're flattered or enlightened by them, mistreating them is not the way to do it. But that has sat on my heart ever since a week ago, and it made me really think about, okay, my life as it is. And as I mentioned to you all before about the book Year 33-0, how in those particular cases when I dealt with those three different men at the age of 33, the Jesus year, which is considered a year of rebirth, how, and again, not making myself like this perfect little angel that, to walk into these men's life, because I had my part of wrongdoing as well, but that these men, there was an attraction there that was not managed well as far as they were concerned. The mismanagement, the misbehavior as it related to me. And so I thought that was very interesting that in our lives, when we deal with different people over time, we face people who are drawn to us. We have a certain light that draws people to us, and they may not manage it well. And it's up to us to decide what's our next step. So I'm thinking about next steps includes receiving those lessons, moving forward, thriving, becoming a better, stronger person as a result, not using it as an opportunity to be hurtful to someone else, but using it as an opportunity to strengthen ourselves and to continue to be a light, not to let it make us remove our light from the world, because our light was given to us for a reason. And so prayerfully, those people who mismatch the light, they will find their way, assuming that they're open to finding their way, and they will keep being a part of it, keep being a light in people's lives. One thing I wanted to say is that I received this information in a coaching session after I had mentioned that I had been bullied for a while. And in one particular situation, there was a 7-day period of time where there were events happening. And on one of the days, I dealt with, everything started on a Wednesday, ended the final Tuesday. So in one situation, I can definitely say someone was trying to throw me under the bus. And another situation in the 7-day period, somebody was trying to use me. And the third person in this 7 days of events, that person actually tried to help me. And I thought it was very interesting that 2 of those 3 people in this 7 day of events, those people were connected to my personal Facebook page, and the third person, who was out there in the world, was not tied to my personal Facebook page, had never seen this person a day in my life, was actually trying to help me. And in that particular case, I remember I had a flat tire coming out of work one day, and a person did not know me at all, and she just pulled up to the side of me. She put her hazard lights on and said, are you okay? And I asked her, there's any place around here that can help me change out my flat tire? And then, you know, long story short, she helped guide me to a local mechanic shop, and they changed it out. And I was very grateful to her. And I was just thinking to myself, when I was at a point of contemplating, like, wow, after the other person tried to throw me under the bus and the other person tried to find a way to use me, I was thinking, man, there's really no hope for humanity. Like, oh, I'm so done with people. I'm so over it. But I really thought how interesting that was, that God allowed everything to come full circle. And it was as if he was bringing me through those 7 days of events to let me know at the end of it all. And the last event was that flat tire situation. Someone came to help me, and it was like he was letting me know, but I'm still here. I'm still in charge. Don't let anyone else stop you. There'll always be bad in the world, but I'm still here. So just thinking on that, and how those other two situations, those negative instances with those other two individuals that was tied to my personal Facebook page, that is one of the reasons I know I've decided to shut down the personal Facebook page, because there are already enough issues in your real world. For instance, like a flat tire, you got to figure that out, or just other things going on in the real world that can hurt you. But why do I need to double that with issues that originate from social media? So how about I delete the personal social media, and I delete those issues, and I only deal with the issues in the real world? You know, kind of like the good old days, back in the day before any social media platform existed. If we could really think back to those days, if we were alive back before that time, those were simpler, better times. We were more together, had more unity, more concern about each other. We're less looking at what everybody else is doing. With social media, it makes it so easy for you to look at what the next person is doing, and makes it so much easier to focus on yourself less and what you should be doing. Helps it make it so much easier to look at your life, and so people are amazing at making their life look great on video, in pictures. People are amazing at that. People are not so great at showing reality in those pictures, in those videos on social media. So that's just something that is a given. That is a reality out here, whether people want to face it or not. That is just one of those things that social media is for. And as a result, we have more of a depressed society. And it's not surprising that our society is more depressed, because one of the reasons is that they are on social media so much that they're not tending to what they need to be doing in their own lives. For me personally, that's a reason that I get on. I do coaching programs, and I'm a big proponent of coaching programs. I know the coaching program that I've just finished, it just finished up a week ago, but there are different coaches doing different things, and I'm a big proponent, especially now. I've done business coaching programs, and those have been great for me, but I found, hey, I need that personal development component too. And there are different conferences related to coaching programs as well. So I know one that's coming up, a business coaching program that's coming up for people who wanted to go into business for themselves, wanted to leave the 9-to-5 life behind. And then there's an actual personal development coaching component to that as well. It's the ROI Summit, Business Summit, right? That comes up in January every year, and it's hosted by the Hello 7 company, of which Rachel Rogers is the founder. So I don't know if you've heard of Rachel Rogers, a self-made millionaire here in America, and she's phenomenal. And so she likes to help out people, especially normally excluded communities in our society. So check out the link in the comments once you're done with this video to learn more about that awesome summit that's happening in January. This year it's going to be in California. I may look into that one personally for myself. I hadn't been to California in a while, but I would love to go back. I know it's beautiful. When I went there that one time, it was very beautiful, so I'd love to go back again and do another one. Do another visit of California rather, and just have a great time, but also just learn more about entrepreneurship, business, how to have more of a life of freedom with more income, and also just get that more personal development coaching in. So if that's something you're looking at, you're considering for coaching for yourself, which I highly recommend, helps you get out that social media slump that social media typically gets you into, that comparison slump that you'll typically get into. Because especially if you're the person who stays on social media multitude of times in a day, and that has been my problem before, and it's especially my problem when I was on Instagram last year, which is a huge reason I did deactivate it in 2023, and I have zero regrets. And interestingly enough, when it comes to Facebook, outside of the drama that has recently come up on my page, which is a reason I haven't been posting directly from the personal page anymore, if anyone has paid attention, then that's the reason I'm getting rid of my personal Facebook as well. what can I be doing to grow myself and grow my life? Because at the end of the day, we all pass away. We don't think about that a lot. Our society likes to distract us with fun little events, things to do, right? And new movies and new outings and new this and new that, but distract us from the fact that one day we will die, and that hey, we got something, a legacy to leave behind. Whether we are leaving behind to kids or family members, whoever that may be, or just to the world. How will you be remembered? Right? So hopefully you're not going to be remembered as the person who was always on social media. And when people really came to talk to you, or, I don't know, just really be real with you. You were not a person who was never good for them to talk to. You're a person that no one ever really wanted to talk to, because you always made them feel uncomfortable, because your life was always dictated by somebody else, because partly of your involvement with social media, which could have been limited, right? Typically people fall into that rut if they do not have a sense of purpose in life, but that's something that's easy to resolve if you're willing to do that work. It takes work, but like I mentioned in another video, just like exercise, it takes work and time and effort. At first it's painful, but after a while it becomes easier. So I'm a huge advocate for looking into more of doing that work to get yourself up to that next level. But yeah, just going back to what I was mentioning before about the attraction. Sometimes you'll have people who have an attraction to you, and you'll think to yourself, why do these people leave me alone? Because I know I definitely think that to myself. Why don't these people just leave me alone and start making me a target, especially if I'm minding my own business and I'm living my life and I'm not hurting other people out here? Why don't they just go find their own business? Especially if they're people, for instance, I would think you're very busy if you are a quote-unquote happily married person with kids, so you would not have time for little old me. So including with the bullying situation, you just wouldn't have time for that, right? So I just wanted to come on here just to bring that up, and thinking about, we have to consider, like, what are we out here for? What are we doing? What are our motives? Are we out here to help or to hurt people? Do we have zero idea of where we're on this planet for? What are we doing to find out what that is? Because I guarantee you that the consequences are always going to be negative when you allow yourself to be drawn to something and your goal is to hurt it because you're being selfish at the end of the day. Well, it's to make somebody else look or feel bad, anything of that nature. The more that you do that, the more it's going to come back on you. I think people look at consequences and karma or reaping what you sowing as something that's a game. It's a game until it comes back on you, and it comes down hard. I've had to learn that the hard way myself. So, what are you doing to that? If you're attracted to something, sometimes you need to leave it alone. Especially if you're a person, you're attracted to it and you got a lot of feelings in the forefront, and that's what's pulling you the most toward that. You may have feeling of jealousy, feeling of hatred, feeling of lust, feeling of related to greed, all those things. If you got feelings and that's leading you the most when it comes to your attraction to whatever is a thing, is a person, whatever, and you dig deep within and you learn that that's actually not going to be good for you long term and it could hurt you, you need to abandon ship immediately. Do your self-assessments, look within. Prayerfully, you're allowing yourself to be surrounded by people who are also doing similar things, because if they are not, you will go down and they will go down. You all will go down, and there will be nothing good about that. And I mean, sometimes it's really hard to recover from once you've had that downfall. And so I just want to come over here and encourage people. Ask yourself if there's something you're attracted to today, if it's worth pursuing that, worth doing whatever you're about to do that you think is going to, I don't know, satisfy you in some kind of way. Because as we've all done it before, and even back in my day when I used to have more of a cold-hearted spirit toward people, definitely a decade ago, definitely had a real more of a cold-hearted spirit to people. I lost out on a lot of good things, and maybe in that moment I did that little sting or that little jab to that person, but then later on I would still go home and go to bed at night and be miserable in my heart, and it'd still be nothing there. And I could go on the next week or the next day and do something else miserable and terrible to somebody again, but the result would still be the same. I would still go home and be miserable. So if you want your pain, that pain to go away, one of the first things you need to stop doing is allowing what you're drawn to be the reason that you go and act out and go and hurt someone. and mess them up in some kind of way, especially when they have done nothing to you. If someone has offended you in any kind of way, be an adult to have a conversation. Have a conversation. Our society has fallen so hard because we don't have conversations no more. But we think acting on feelings is wise, when you can ruin your family's lives, your reputation, your career, all that on feelings. So keep that in mind, that when you're attracted to something, that you need to keep in mind, okay, what is this leading to? All right. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, and I'll see y'all on next time. Bye-bye.